Putin can call up all the troops he wants, but Russia can't train or support them. CNN: Vladimir Putin can call up all the troops he wants, but Russia has no way of getting those new troops the training and the weapons they need to fight in Ukraine anytime soon. With its invasion of Ukraine faltering badly, the Russian president on Wednesday announced the immediate partial mobilization of Russian citizens. Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu Soiju said on Russian television that the country will call up 300,000 reservists if they end up facing Ukrainian guns on the front lines. They are likely to become the newest casualties in the invasion Putin started more than 7 months ago, and that has seen the Russian military fail at almost every aspect of a modern war. The Russian military is not currently equipped to rapidly and effectively deploy 300,000 reservists, said Alex Lord, Europe and Eurasia specialist at the civilian, civilian strategic analysis from firm in London. Russia is already struggling to effectively equip its professional forces in Ukraine following significant equipment losses during the war, Lord said. The recent Ukrainian offensive, which has seen Kiev recapture thousands of square meters of territory, has taken a significant toll. The Institute for the Study of War earlier this week said analysis from Western experts and Ukrainian intelligence found Russia had lost 50% to 90% of its strength in some units due to that offensive and the vast amount of armor. And that comes on top of staggering equipment losses over the course of the war. The open source intelligence website Oryx, using only losses confirmed by photography or video evidence, has found the Russian forces have lost more than 6,300 vehicles, including 1,168 tanks since the fighting began. In practice, they don't have enough modern equipment for that many new troops, said Jacob Janovsky, a military analyst who contributes to the Oryx blog. J.T. Crump, CEO of Civil Line and a veteran of 20 years in the British military, said Russia is beginning to suffer ammunition shortages in some calibers and is looking for sources of key components so it can repair or build replacement for weapons lost on the battlefield. It's not just the tanks and armed personnel carriers that have been lost. In many cases, Russian troops haven't had their basics in Ukraine, including a clear definition of what they are risking their lives for. Despite Wednesday's mobilization order, Putin is still calling Ukrainian a special military operation, not a war. Ukrainian soldiers know they are fighting for their homeland. Many Russian soldiers have no idea why they are in Ukraine. Lithuanian Foreign Minister Gabrielius Landsbergis noted this on Wednesday, calling Putin's Persian mobilization announcement a sign of desperation. A billboard promoting army service in St. Petersburg on September 20 contains the slogan, "Serving Russia is a real job." I think that people definitely do not want to go to the war that they don't understand. The people wouldn't be taken to jail if they were to call Russia's war in Ukraine a war, and now suddenly they have to go in and fight it unprepared, without weapons, without body armor, without helmets, he said. But even if they did have all the equipment, weapons, and motivation they need. Getting 300,000 troops quickly trained for battle would be impossible, experts said. Neither the extra officers nor facilities necessary for the mass mobilization exist now in Russia, said Trent Telenko, a former Quality Control auditor for the U.S. Defense Contract Management Agency who has studied Russian logistics. Reforms in 2008 aimed at modernizing and professionalizing the Russian military removed many of the logistical and command and control structures that had once enabled the forces of the old Soviet Union to rapidly train and equip the vast numbers of mobilized conscript. Lord at Civilian said it'll take at least 3 months to gather, train, and deploy Russian reservists, at which time we will be in the depth of the Ukrainian winter, Lord said. As such, we are unlikely to see an influx of reservists have a serious impact on the battlefield until spring 2023, and even then, they are likely to be fully trained and yield equipment. Mark Hartling, a former U.S. Army general and CNN analyst, said he has seen firsthand how Russian training could be during visits to the country. It was awful, rudimentary, rudimentary first add very few simulations to conserve resources, and most importantly, horrible leadership. Hartling wrote on Twitter, placing newbies on the front line that has been mold has low morale and who don't want to be there. Portends more Russian disaster. Jaw dropping. Hartling tweeted. Telenko said the newly mobilized troops would likely become just the latest casualties in Putin's war. Russia can draft the bodies. It can't rapidly train, equip, and most importantly, lead them. Untrained waves of 20 to 50 something men with AKs, something assault rifles, and no radios will fall apart at the first Ukrainian artillery or armored attack, he said.